Howard here with Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress. I've actually gotten so many requests for this song, so I thought it's time to get around to it. It's by the Hollies, of course, and it's got a few really cool guitar parts in it, so let's get right down to it. The first thing is that intro riff, which is really signature and a really cool thing to play, okay? I'm in standard tuning. I've got a really clean tone going on my telly. I've got a pinch of chorusing on this, just because it kind of captures a little bit of that sound in the actual recording, and some verb as well, okay? And I'm on the bridge pickup, tones wide open. In fact, everything's wide open. So the first thing we want to do is hit that open E string, and then we do a hammer on, as you can see in the tab, we do a hammer on to the 2nd fret on the A string, and then an open D string. And if you listen to the recording carefully, you can hear that he lets that open E string just kind of ring through everything, okay? So we have, and I did that with my first finger, my index finger, but feel free to do it with whatever works for you. And then I switch over to my 2nd finger, the 5th fret on the D string, and that's a downstroke, followed by an upstroke on the open G string. They are obviously the same note, but that's how it's played. So what we have so far is, then I switch back to my 1st finger. Again, feel free to mix it up, whatever works best for you. But I move back to my 1st finger, and we play the D, the G, and the B string. But we want to play that with down, down, up. And then the same thing at the 2nd fret. Again, down, down, up. So what we have now is, very nice. And then we have an open D string and an open G string, and I'm playing those with alternate strokes. Down, up, just like so. Then move your 1st finger to the 2nd fret on the A string, and we will play the A string with a downstroke, followed by the open D string with an upstroke. So we've got down, up, down, up. Let me do that one more time. So putting it all together, what we have so far. Now leave your 1st finger where it is, but place your 2nd finger on the 3rd fret on the 6th string, the top string, the one closest to you. And we're going to use that same cross-picking technique just across the 3 top strings, right across the E, the A, and the D. Then place your index finger on the 6th string at the 2nd fret and do the same thing right across those strings. So from the G we have, and move it back to the G. So let me run that down again, nice and slow. So now we have, so right there I moved from that G to the 5th fret on the A string, and the 2 remaining strings are open, but it's still that same cross picking, down, down, up. And we're almost there. Move back to the 3rd fret on the top string, and we want to play that with a downstroke. Skip a string for the open D with an upstroke, so we have, then with your 1st finger, or whichever fingers you're using, move to the 2nd fret on the top string. Play that string with a downstroke, the 6th string, and then the open A string with an upstroke. So those 2 moves right there are, and that gives us the whole riff, and then we're going to repeat it. To the boogie pattern, okay? So here it is up to speed just for continuity. out that boogie part. So you come off the tail end of the riff, and we lock right into and you can play that using your pinky as well if that suits you better. And even though you can see the tab on the screen, I'll explain exactly what's going on there. We've got a little bit of muting going on back here so the strings aren't ringing out too much. And we're just using the E string and the A string, right? 2, 4, 5, 4. And then kind of bar across the A string and the D string and hit that with an upstroke. So you're bringing that D string into the picture as well. And that's going to be with an upstroke. And you can see I'm doing it twice. Really emphasize that. And after you've done that, just walk back 4, 5, 4. So very slowly, it's played like this. So you can see you just lock right into that. Once you arrive there, you just kind of stay with that, okay? Now there's a few guitars on this track, and you can bring in the harmony guitar by doing a kind of a Clapton-esque thing with that. So what you can do is place your first finger on the G string at the first fret, second finger on the second fret on the A string, okay? And then we're going to move like this, using those same strings. Then it becomes 2 and 4, then 4 and 5, and then back, okay? So you get this, the D string in the middle is just kind of muted out. But you want to bring your open E string into that as well. So I'm kind of doing the same thing as we were doing with the that's pretty cool if you can get that in there just for the sake of it, especially if you're just playing with yourself, you know, or maybe even just one other guitar player. It's nice for one of you to jump off and do that. Also, you can hammer into that first position if you want to. So let me play that all for you, going into that and with the hammer on as well. And I trust you can listen to the recording to hear how the arrangement works. But you can see that I moved to a G power chord and to an A power chord. You can do the 2-string job if you want, or the 3-string job, whichever. I like it with the 3 strings. It sounds a little bit fuller. So from the verse where he starts singing, we would have this. Okay, and then we move to the next part. So we move to a standard boogie pattern, a la Chuck Berry and all the rest, and you just want to kind of groove with this. Again, muting back here and just kind of chugging along in your right hand like so, and then of course rotating your pinky. You play that 4 times, move it up a whole step, and you actually play it 6 times. Move it back to A 4 times. Move it down to the 3rd fret for G 2 times. So let me go over that little section again. times. And again, I'm playing it with that harmony in there, but feel free to play it like the original one out the gate of the video here. But you play just one in between that, and then you go back to the A at the 5th fret for 4 times, and then 2 at the 3rd fret for G again. And that is the next section. So let me play the whole thing. Okay, and then we move into this cool little sort of hybrid picked bluesy guitar part, okay? And it is played like so. So this is obviously the most difficult part of the song, but it's all wrapped around a simple E chord, okay? There's a little bit of muting back here as usual, but not overly so. And you're going to use hybrid picking, combining your pick with the middle finger in your right hand, or left hand if you happen to be left-handed. And the first thing we want to do is we want to hit the top 2 strings, meaning the 2 strings closest to you. Then we're going to pick the top string in combination with the G string, the 3rd string from the bottom. So we've got this. And then really releasing both of your fingers, I think that's how it works best. But we do a hammer on the A string, open A string to the 2nd fret, right inside that E chord, so you're never really leaving the E chord. And you want to do that with a downstroke, and then open the fingers up again for an upstroke on the D string. Now there's going to be a little pattern here where you go downstroke, upstroke on the D string, and then swing up and hit the E string with a downstroke. And you'll do that twice. So let's put together what we have so far. One more time, nice and slow. Now this gets tricky right here, because if you listen to the recording really carefully, you'll hear him come back and hit that top E string again as he hammers onto the G string at the 1st fret. And you can do that by keeping your fingers down if you want and just hammering like that, or just taking the whole chord with you. Whatever works best for you is totally cool. But what we'll have so far is this. So you can see right after that that you've got to swing back to that E string very quickly and combine it with that hammer on the G string. So you can see, of course, you're plucking with your finger for the G string, and then I swing back and catch that D string at the 2nd fret that I just mentioned with an upstroke of the pick. We swing up and hit the open E string with a downstroke. And then we play the octaves. So with your pick, you're striking the top string, and with your middle finger, the D string. So that's the whole riff, okay? So let me play that whole thing for you nice and slowly. And then you repeat it from this. So that whole section just becomes this loop. through the rest of the song. And that is pretty much it for the song. There's no new parts, except there's a little trick in the arrangement. And the best way to explain this is at 2 minutes and 24 seconds. This is what happens. And then it's just the boogie pattern out. So that's kind of a little twist in the arrangement, if you will. But basically what happens again at 224 is you play the boogie pattern one time, and then you move to G at the 3rd fret 2 times, move it up to the 5th fret for A 8 times, move it back to G, 3rd fret twice, boogie pattern 1 time, back to A at the 5th fret 4 times, 2 at the 3rd fret again, and then it's just out. So there you have it, Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress from the Hollies. A really cool and fun song to play on guitar. I hope you guys enjoyed it. All the best to everyone as always, and we'll see you guys real soon.